A controversial report could prompt some to call for Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito to recuse himself from several cases involving former President Donald Trump. The New York Times discovered an upside-down American flag hung outside Alito's home after the 2020 election. At the time, the common protest symbol was being used for the Stop the Steal movement, when Trump supporters were challenging the legitimacy of the election. Alito claims his wife flew the flag in response to a dispute with a neighbor. Let's bring in CBS News legal contributor and Loyola Law School professor Jessica Levinson. Jessica, good to see you again. So why is this controversy so significant that some would call for Alito to recuse himself?
So it's significant because it's not just potentially saying there is one presidential candidate who I support. It really appears potentially like the justice has a particular viewpoint when it comes to this notion of stop the steal, when it comes to the idea that the election was stolen. And the reason that that matters is that in this term, the court is weighing in on a number of cases that indirectly and directly affect January 6th, the events that happened right after the Stop the Steal rally. So it's not just that we think he has a particular point of view when it comes to politics or a candidate. It's that we think he has a particular point of view when it comes to this event, the events that culminated in January 6th, and that he's weighing in on cases that talk about things like what statutes can you use to prosecute people for activities on January 6th? He's weighing in on whether or not the former president has presidential immunity based on acts that took place on January 6th. So that's really the concern here.
Well, how does all of this add to the deteriorating public image of the U.S. Supreme Court?
Oh, terribly. So if you look at polling and you look at people's feelings about the legitimacy of the court, and if they respect the court, the one thing that the court and members of the court know they have to be careful of is that it doesn't look like they're just politicians in robes. Because ultimately, we have three co-equal branches because we think the judiciary does something different. We give these people lifetime appointments, and I don't mean that in a pejorative sense, but we give them lifetime appointments because we're saying we want you to be separate from politics. And so the idea that we have one justice, again, who doesn't just support a candidate, but who's actively promoting that candidate's views that led to an insurrection of the Capitol, it's not good for the legitimacy of the court.
Well, are personal politics grounds enough for a Supreme Court justice to recuse themselves from a case? I mean, where is the line?
It's a great question. So we know that when it comes to the Supreme Court, that in fact, they still are the arbiters of where that line is, that for essentially every other federal judge, there is a mandatory code of ethics. For the Supreme Court, despite the fact that they passed one, it really still is permissive. They're the ones who enforce it. But when it comes to the line, the bottom line of all conflict of interest statutes should be, do we think that this person, this judge, this justice is giving a fair shake to the parties? Or do we think that their personal interests, whether it be financial or otherwise, are providing them with a bias such that it either is the case that they are biased or that it looks like they're biased? That's really the line, legally speaking.
All right, more to come on that. And while we have you, remind us, Jessica, when might we get a decision on the presidential immunity case?
Great question. So we're in the middle of the middle of May now, and Supreme Court decision days are on Thursdays right now. So it could be any time from this upcoming Thursday until the last day of the term, which I expect to be about June 28th. I think that it will be earlier. The court will also add days that are not just Thursdays, but if you look at the insurrection case that they heard, Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, they were able to turn that around in about 5 weeks. We're already at about 5 weeks, so I think soon.
All right, Jessica Levinson, a lot to keep track of, Jessica. Always good to see you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.